My name is Kylie and welcome back to my channel. So today we're gonna talk about crystals. What are crystals? How to work with them, how to choose a crystal. So let's get right into it. Let's talk about what exactly is a crystal. So crystals are minerals, and minerals can be polished as you see here, or like the bracelets I'm wearing, the mala that I'm wearing. Those are minerals. But minerals, some can also be crystals. So crystals have a perfect chemical composition. The molecules are formed in perfect patterns, which are the crystals. You can see them in some pyrite and other crystal formations. So minerals usually are polished and have a perfect chemical composition where you can find them. They usually come in you can find them in a vein. They're just polished, not a crystal. Now rocks are a mixture of minerals and don't have that perfect chemical composition that minerals do. So all minerals are rocks, not all rocks are minerals, and all crystals are minerals, but not all minerals are crystals. I know, mind blowing. Gets a little crazy, and can be a little bit confusing. A lot of the minerals that you find are, like in geological terms, are naturally occurring. So from a big, huge event that happened on the earth thousands and thousands of years ago, usually from that involve like fire, water, volcanoes, kind of like where obsidian glass can be found, lava streams, salt beds of the earth, things like that. So now, with all of that being said, a lot of chemistry is involved in that with the atoms and the neutrons. So now let's think about, how do crystals work? So crystals or minerals come together and the atoms make up the shapes of the crystals and the quality of the crystals. So we're gonna get a little nerdy and sciencey with this part. So with all the particles of the atoms, the protons, the neutrons, and the electrons forming up are the basic units of energy, and that emit a subtle frequency of a vibration. So each stone and each crystal has its own unique vibration, just like us as human beings. So with that being said, I'm just getting out of breath. I'm just like, so much. And I also have little notes too, because I'm like, this is just, I didn't want to forget anything to tell you guys. So, and I'm just really excited to share. So, just like us, crystals are different as well. So you know when you walk into a room and you can just kind of feel the energy shift and you're like, oh, something's just not right here. That's kind of like how crystals work. So for us as humans, when we are, sad and just kind of like in a little funk, our vibration is low. Then that's when, illness and other certain things are more, can happen to us more than when we're on a higher vibration, when we're happy and really just, in that zone of like nothing can bother us. It's kind of like that. So when we're happy, we're vibrating on a higher frequency, which really promotes healing and can attract more fortunate circumstances for us. All the manifesting really works when we're on a higher vibration versus when we're low in a lower funk. Crystals are arranged in different groups, and currently there are over 4,000 different known types of minerals that really make up the earth as building blocks. So crystals have been used since ancient times, as well as you see them today in watches, in ultrasound machines. You can find them in lasers, but back then they used them all the time. for like amethyst, they would have cups and it was called not drunken, meaning, you know, they thought by drinking wine out of these amethyst cups that they weren't going to get drunk. Kind of silly, but that's, you know, the things that they believed. Pharaohs were buried with certain crystals because of their beliefs. And so you see them kind of in modern times everywhere. So it's interesting to see them come full circle and how we use them now as well as in ancient times way back when. So crystals can be used in a variety of different ways, from home decor, putting them on beautiful shelves, to adding them to your plants, to your bath, wearing them. I wear a lot of bracelets, jewelry. You can use them to meditate. I like to use a mala. You can also use them to create beautiful crystal grids when manifesting. You can sleep with them, put them under your pillow or on your nightstand. You can carry them in your pockets, slip them into your bra. You can, let's see, is there anything else that I'm trying to see if I'm missing anything? Reiki is a great one. I also like to use, and I think that might be it. But those are some great ways, and I'm sure there's plenty of others. So put how you use crystals in your daily life. So let's talk now about choosing a crystal. So it's something you don't want to overthink. If you're new into crystals, see what catches your eye. What is it, something that is drawn to you that you don't really understand the reasoning? You don't understand why, but you're just drawn to a certain crystal. Sometimes we just can't explain it. And it isn't until later when we read up on that crystal and we're like, that makes perfect sense. Like, I don't know why I didn't know that before. So see what you're drawn to. Certain colors, certain shapes, they all have different meanings. And it's just kind of like down the rabbit hole. You're always learning and finding out certain things that are new. And that's just the fun of the crystal world. There's so much to learn. I am learning so much every year with my crystal shop. I'll leave a link below, and I also have lives going on over on Instagram every week. But there's just so much information. By going to the Denver Gem Show and the other gem shows and talking to other people, it's insane. So just kind of see what catches your eye and just kind of see through. You can also get a crystal book, flip through, see what catches your eye. If there's something you're drawn to or you read up on that certain mineral or stone and that's something that you find interesting and that you want to start working with and implementing into your crystal journey, I think that is a great way as well. There's a lot of great crystal books, and maybe I'll do another future video on that. And yeah, so just kind of go with what you are drawn to, what catches your eye. It's really fun that way, I think. Just see what pulls to you. Even if you're like, why in the world? Just go with it. Go with your vibe. Go with your instinct. So now that you have found the crystal that you want to program, find a quiet spot and sit quietly, close your eyes, and hold it in your hands and focus your mind on whatever it is that you want the crystal to do. So imagine the thought in your mind. Imagine a white light coming down to your crystal with that intention. Do that for about 5 to 10 minutes. And repeat this intention daily for about 2 weeks. And during this time, you'll find that it doesn't take long as the first time to really connect with your crystal. And during that 2-week span, take your crystal with you. If it's small enough, you can put it in your purse or your pocket or your bag, book bag, or leave it somewhere where it won't be disturbed. No one's going to pick it up. No one's going to put it back in its normal spot, and just really work with it and connect with it. With working with crystals, pick something that you're wanting to work on within yourself. If you've done a lot of shadow work and you know there's some things that you want to work on, say, I want to work on patience. I'm going to choose a crystal that and set the intention of working on patience. So every time I look at that crystal, it is going to act as a reminder for me, like, slow your roll. Let's have some patience. Let's not get in a rush. Let's just chill out for a bit. So that is just kind of acts as a reminder of, okay, I just need to take a deep breath. So crystals can work in that way and act as a reminder of, all right, patience. Patience is key. Or, anxiety, or with anxiety, like lepidolite is a great one. So that can act as a great reminder of, like, okay, and digging deeper into the solution to help you solve that problem. So, lepidolite. Okay, like, what is making me anxious right now? And just kind of dig deeper, because usually it's not the surface level. Usually it activates something from a memory. Now, I'm no doctor. From a memory from a long time ago that is triggering to you. Say you see a blue car, but that same blue car is an ex's blue car and they were horrible and it was a horrible relationship. So that just can help you go down this deep rabbit hole. But then the lepidolite is like, yeah, this is something we need to work on. Be aware. Let's take a deep breath. Let's work on these things that are making you anxious. So it can all kind of intertwine at helping us become our best selves and showing up, and it's crystals. So what, not a better way than to work on ourselves with beautiful rocks, minerals, crystals, all the things. When working with crystals, if you ever feel any discomfort with the crystal's energy, if something feels wrong, or you just really feel uneasy about the energy, put it aside and really contemplate and think, like, why? Because it's either the crystal's energy is putting you off and making you feel uneasy, or it's just really not harmonious to your energy, that is really making you and throwing you off balance. Or it might just be the crystals was bringing emotions up to the surface, something that you need to address and heal. Just kind of like things just can come up and we can see things and it can kind of trigger something that we need to work on and heal to be the best versions of ourselves and move forward. So using a certain stone, I know a friend that certain stones make her a little dizzy and just really uncomfortable, and she doesn't like using that particular stone. But for me, I love it and it's great. So everyone's a little bit different. Just because you read it in a book and hear all these great things doesn't mean that you're gonna also vibe on that same vibration. So everyone's different. So don't ever feel down and out because you don't vibe the same way everybody else is getting all this, great energy and these great outcomes. It just, we as people aren't like that. We generally don't usually like everybody. There's just some people that we just don't jive with, and that's same with crystals. So don't ever think, why is this not working for me? It's just, you guys aren't vibing, and that's okay. Just find something else that does, because you may find a crystal that you are really vibing with and can connect with on that vibration, and all your friends are like, yeah, no, that's a no for me. And you're like, what the heck? So it's just different for everybody. It is what it is. It's just like people. So there you go. Let's talk about cleansing your crystals. So there's a few different methods of cleansing your crystals and how you can do that. So you can do that from a few different ways. So let's talk about crystal cleansing. So crystal cleansing, you can cleanse your crystals with other crystals. Some of those have that property. So one is like geodes, quartz, selenite. Another great one that you don't hear too often is blue kyanite. So you can set the other crystals on those or inside the geode, on the selenite for a few hours and cleanse it that way. Another way is by the earth. You can put them in soil. Don't forget where you put them. You can either do that in a potted plant, or you can take them out into your backyard if you have one, versus like if you're in your apartment with your plants. Just don't forget, make a little marker of where you're putting them in and dig them up. You can also do a smoke cleanse, and by that you can use Palo Santo, you can use an incense. White sage is very controversial in a closed practice, so be mindful of that. So those are the smoke ones. You can do it by sound using a different sound bowl and cleansing them and go around your crystals. You can also use water. Be very, very careful of water. Definitely do your homework with which crystals can tolerate water. Some rust, some dissolve, depending on their chemical makeup. So, because not all crystals are safe in water. If you're doing it under running water, just hold your crystal there for a few minutes, depending on when the last time you cleanse your crystals. This isn't my favorite method, but it is possible to do. Let's see. Moonlight. You can definitely leave your crystals out under a full moon. Other different like eclipses. Some people have their own opinion, depending on which full moon it is. I think it's fine leaving them overnight. And also sunlight. Another one that you want to be careful with is sunlight, because it can fade your crystals over time. Leaving them out for 2 to 4 hours should be enough. But with like quartz and other different minerals, fluorite, they fade over time in sunlight. So it's kind of, again, probably not like one of my favorite ways of cleansing crystals and going about it that way. But those are some of the ways that you can cleanse your crystals. Alright, so now let's talk about charging your crystals. So just like people, plants, batteries, we kind of need a recharge. We start to get tired and just kind of dull. Crystals do the same thing. They take on so much of our energy to help us out and take on a lot of work that sometimes they just need a boost. So you can kind of get that sense when you start to get familiar with your crystals and holding them. You can just kind of feel like it's just not vibrating at its normal frequency when holding it. So that is a great time to do a charge of your crystals. And you'll notice a lot of the same charging techniques are also the same cleansing techniques. So same with the energy cleansing, the crystal cleansing, the sound cleansing, moon, those types of things are all great charging methods for your crystals. So take that in account when cleansing and charging your crystals. They can kind of intertwine. So whatever cleansing method could also be a great charging method for you to use when charging your crystals. A little reminder is, remember that a crystal needs to be cleared before it's charged, or the charging process can take a little bit longer because of, that energy that needs to be cleared away. It needs to get rid of that excess negative energy, neutral energy that is taking up space and get that cleared out before it can really start the charging process. But you can use rainwater, sound, other crystals, sunlight, and just kind of depending on how often you use your crystals depends on how often you need to cleanse and charge them. So if you're using them pretty frequently, like my malas, I use them quite frequently with my meditation, and I also use a lot of palm stones when I'm meditating. So all that, those I do more often than ones that sit pretty on a shelf, those types of things. So I'll charge the ones that I use more frequently, and also the ones that I wear more frequently than the others. So just kind of take that into consideration when you're cleansing and charging. So that is what I have a little bit about crystals. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope to do more content like this in the future. Otherwise, I have previous videos that you can go back and check on. Hope you have a great day. Bye!